All right, guys, here is the deal. I want to make sure you are comfortable all summer long. And you may be cocky right now. You may be thinking it's not that hot right now. And you may be thinking it's not right cold. It's just kind of perfect. It's in the middle. Well, what if I told you that you don't want to wait until you see those heat waves coming off the concrete?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
You don't want to wait until your family is absolutely miserable. And you also don't want to get that bill from the energy company saying, wow, you're using a lot, to make sure your system is cooling the way that it should. Now, just this last week, I had the folks at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air come out. I had Caleb. He was so sweet and so professional from start to finish. He explained everything that he was going to do before I signed anything. And let me tell you, I did not know how bad our system needed a tune-up. It really did. But if they would have come and said, listen, you need a brand new system, it's just too beat. Well, I got to tell you, right now is the time to call my friends at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air, because you're going to beat the summer rush. And I have never seen rebates before on heat pumps than I am right now with Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air. Again, we had them at our house just this last week. It was so professionally done. I was blown away. And I'm not just saying that because they're a client of the podcast. I'm saying that because I was genuinely blown away by the customer service that I got with Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air. So get in on those rebates on heat pumps. Get in on that system checkup because, I'm so glad we did. Guys, it was bad. I didn't know how bad it was. It was bad. Caleb made me see the light, but he also made sure that my system is going to run in tip-top shape for this summer. So don't wait. If you've been putting it off, don't wait until the summer rush is here. Call my friends or better yet, go online and check out these amazing rebates. PolarBearPHA.com. That's PolarBearPHA.com. Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating and Air is a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.
I'm going to say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Let's talk about marriage.
They have like a 2-second rebound rate and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
Parenting. Oh my gosh.
They have sucked the pretty right out of me. They treat me like it, and I do their laundry. Lucky me.
Sex.
I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Scary stuff like ghosts. I know it's totally out of left field, but just go with me on this.
Boo, you whore.
Love.
I give you what you need. That's all. I'm talking about taking care of each other the best you can. What's wrong with taking care of a woman? She takes care of you.
Friendships.
I want to get her a necklace that says best friends forever.
Actually, you want it to say forever? I don't think you guys will be best friends forever, no offense. But sometimes you grow apart, and maybe she'll find a new best friend. They end up doing everything together.
Well, first of all, I want to, I think, get some of those underwear that makes it look like you have a butt, because I have just given up on even trying to have one. And by giving up, I mean I haven't even tried to do any of the squats. I just every day wake up and think, my God, you know what I look like? I look like Gru from the Minions, where it's just like it's big up top, and then as it goes down, it gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier, because he doesn't have a butt, and that's how I feel. So what are your thoughts on me getting those underwears with the padding on it so I look like Kim Kardashian? Go.
We operate in completely different circles. I've never even heard of that being a thing. Really?
Okay. Can I also blow your mind and tell you, and this is one of the sponsors of the podcast, Chris from Christiana Salon Spa. She bought one of those bras. They make bras where it looks like you're nipping out. It has like little bumps that are so.
Can I tell you that girls dress for girls and guys work out for guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that guys really care about, oh, look, she's nipping out. Like, it's not a big
You don't
thing.
think it's a thing if a girl nips out?
It's not. It's kind of creepy if I say, oh, look at that, she's nipping out and it's attractive. Like, it's
incredibly turned on.
Yeah, no, I think girls do that for girls.
Yeah, I think you're right. Girls dress for girls. And I don't know what boys do, but
guys work out for guys, like not in like a homoerotic way, but like as in like oh God, that guy's arms. God, those arms are great. I want those arms. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. But I think in girls, let me ask you this.
Okay.
You're dressed up for that night. We're going out for dinner.
I'm wearing my big butt underwear.
Big booty underwear.
And my nipping out bra.
Sure.
I'm set.
you get a compliment, not from your husband, not from anybody that you know. There is a random girl and a random guy that give you a compliment. Which one are you more impressed by?
The girl.
100%.
100%, because I think guys, that's just lip service where they're like, you look nice tonight. It may be true, but I think that men are just programmed to, you know, to say those things, you know, and there have been times where I know I don't look good and you have said, oh, you look nice, which is very sweet. But I also know that you're a lying because I don't look good.
See, that's the difference. I think you look good almost every single minute.
Almost. This is one of those moments that fell between the almost. Do you see also how women cannot be pleased?
Let me just tell you that there are times where you're what I would call sometimes a hard sleeper. And sometimes you come down for a morning coffee and look like you've been through some sort of war with the bed.
I'm also an ugly sleeper. Like I always want to, not that this matters because I'm sleeping, but anyone who's ever taken a picture of me sleeping, which is something Ryan thinks is hilarious to do. Yep. I am the fuggliest sleeper. I've got like triple chin and my mouth is always open. I don't understand movies where, okay, here's one of the things I don't understand about movies, that a woman would wake up and she would have it. She looks beautiful. Okay. Her hair is messy, but in like a sexy way. And she wakes up in the morning and, you know, she looks like she has makeup on, just minimal, but still she looks gorgeous. And then another thing that's weird about movies is then they kiss, like if it's like they slept together the night. And I always think, ew, aren't you concerned about like morning breath and that kind of stuff?
We've been together for coming up on 2 decades, 17 years. And still, if you've not brushed your teeth in the morning, you will give me just the peckiest of pecks.
Yeah.
Still.
Don't you think that's weird though, when people have, I guess I'm not a morning sex person. And so the whole thing is kind of strange to me.
Yeah. You have to go through like your process.
I sure do. And I think you should appreciate the fact that I go through and make sure everything is set to go.
In the morning, you're like, okay, got to brush my teeth, but you'll give me a hug in the morning.
Yeah. Well, I just think that that's really odd. And I keep seeing ads. Probably I'm going to see even more ads because I talked about this for the underwear with the giant ass that's built in. And I'm like, this is where we're at now. There was once a time in history where you didn't want a giant butt. You wanted a tiny butt. Do you know that there was a time in history where if you were fat, that was very attractive to people because it meant that you were able to afford food and that meant you were probably wealthy. And so the fatter you were, the more sexy you were. And isn't that strange that things twist and turn and change because nobody watches My 600-Pound Life or 1,000-Pound Sisters and says, God dang it, which I have to tell you, Ryan, who doesn't watch 1,000-Pound Sisters, but just give me a second here. Yeah. One of the sisters lost so much weight and on her forehead, she had a big bump on her forehead of fat. I didn't even know you could get fat there, but wow. And she lost it. And one of the parts of her body she lost the weight was her forehead. Did you know that you could get a giant forehead fat roll?
I think you can get fat anywhere, right?
I didn't think you could get it in your forehead because in my mind, that's against a bone. It's not like a meaty area.
Well, yeah, but you can get fat there. Fat in your neck, you get fat in your cheeks, right? So yeah, you can get it in there. So
I was just reminiscing about one of our first dates that we ever went on. We went and saw Benjamin Button.
I don't even think it was a date.
No, I don't think it was either. I thought it was a date and I was wearing my nipply bra and nothing. I got nothing. He was like, see a friend at the end of the night.
I think I high-fived you at the end of it.
And I was like, oh, I hope he didn't notice I'm wearing butt padding. But what are your thoughts on going to the movies alone? Because I was just reading an article that says 64% of people have never gone to a movie alone. And I think that that's really interesting because I have gone to movies alone. Have you ever gone to a movie? How do I not know this? Have you ever gone to a movie alone?
Yeah, I've gone to a movie alone. You know, I think it's a pretty good way to see a movie besides a comedy. And I was thinking about this actually last night. So you were in bed last night. And,
naturally,
of course, and sleeping. And I tend to stay up a little bit later than you. And so we were talking about that comedian that we like, Tom Segura.
Yes.
Right. And I've never seen his special. I've seen enough of the clips on social media that I thought I have seen his special pretty much. But I watched the entire special, start to finish. And I was laughing, like it hurt laughing. And I was like, well, this is stupid. I'm just sitting here laughing by myself. And I thought, I'll watch a drama by myself. I'll watch some documentary by myself. I'll listen to music by myself. But when it's a comedy and I'm laughing by myself, I'm like, what a loser.
I guess I've never gone to a comedy movie. I've gone to scary movies before.
Would you go to a comedy show by yourself?
No,
See?
I'd be scared the comedian would call me out and be like, hey, loser, for table for one. And I'd be like, yeah, that's me.
I'm here.
That's always a fear of mine. We love going to comedy shows, but when you go to those tiny places where they have comedians, I always have this fear they're going to call me out and be like, hey, ugly lady, like they did on the Professor. What was that? You're not going to know that Eddie Murphy movie, Professor, the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes to the club and the guy makes fun of him. That made my heart hurt.
I forgot about that. He was on a date.
Yeah, I know. With Jada Pinkett Smith before she went off the deep end.
Was that Jada Pinkett Smith?
I believe so, yeah.
I'm going to look that up. But
I'm never going to watch that movie ever again. So whatever my memory is, that's just what we got to stick with.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no, I was thinking about that, like going to a comedy by myself. I can see how that'd be cathartic, but I don't know. I would feel like much more of a loser than going to watch any other genre by myself.
Okay, wait. Comedy or like a Marvel movie?
I bet you 70% of the people that go to Marvel movies are by themselves.
That's not true.
I'm kidding.
I would be more embarrassed to go to like a Marvel or Star Wars movie by myself.
No.
Than a comedy.
Comedy, I don't know what it is. It just is like, and I thought about that literally. It's funny you're bringing this up because last night when I was watching Segura and I'm sitting there and just like, it just hurt. You know, when they just get rolling and you just like, I can't stop laughing.
That's the best.
It's the best. And I was like, I'm alone. This is weird. I'm laughing alone.
Because I'm sleeping upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what time was it?
9 o'clock.
Oh yeah, no, I've already been sleeping. You gotta get your rest. How late did you come to bed last night?
Probably about 10:25.
That's so late to me. I don't know what's wrong with me.
When it's time to go to bed, you know what it is? I have been conditioned because for so long you worked where you got up at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so you were in bed earlier. And so we didn't have that hangout time in the evening. You were asleep earlier.
Yeah.
For so long when you did a morning show that I am conditioned that I am going to come up to bed and lay down when it is time to go to bed. And so now when I lay down, it's a trigger. I'm done. I'm out.
See, do you wake up at all at night?
Very rarely.
See, I wake up. You don't want to hear something weird. I wake up at the same time every night and I look at the clock and it's either 3 a.m. or right before it, like 2:58. Always at the exact same time. I don't know why. And then I lay there and then I go back to bed by around 3:15, 3:30. But why am I waking? I'm scared if I ask like a psychic or something, they're going to be like, that's a sign.
Don't ask a psychic, ask a doctor.
No, a doctor's not going to know. They're going to be like, oh, you're in premenopause or some weird stuff.
Just go to like Huberman's AI bot and ask him why, and he'll tell you.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think it's more of like a supernatural thing. Like maybe in the future,
that's probably correct.
Let me finish my supernatural.
You know what? You're right. There's probably not a scientific reason for this. There's probably something that has to do with the alignment of the planets and crystals.
Every night, I wake up at 3 a.m. every night. That is not a medical thing. That is a crystal.
Oh, you know why?
Huh?
Because Neptune is on its 17 and a
You're
half
so
degree
dumb.
axis.
Stop it. I went to a healer. I'm going to call him a healer because he gave me some crystals. I know this sounds insane, but my whole family is totally gotten into this. And I'm getting into this too, because you get to a point in life where you're like, well, what the hell? What's it going to hurt? But do you know what it is to have a Reiki treatment done?
No.
Oh my gosh. So you lay on a table and they go over your body with their hands. I've never had this done, but I've talked to my friend about it. She had it done.
Does your friend rhyme with Sadie?
No, it's not my sister Katie.
No, I'm just saying.
No.
But you're saying
It's actually a friend.
Yeah.
And you go and you lay down on a table, and then on this table they go over your body with their hands, and they clean out any chakras that are clogged, like a clogged toilet. You don't want your toilet clogged. You don't want your chakras clogged.
What's a chakra?
It's just like points in your body. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I know I really want to get this done. So if anyone is listening that has a person that they get this done, or maybe you think it's silly, but again, I think, what are you going to hurt if you go and try it? Because this person who had this Reiki treatment done had like an experience where she kind of levitated off the table. And I'm going to tell you what friend it was, and you're going to say, this is a reliable person. Stephanie. Yeah.
Really?
She went to get a Reiki treatment and she'd never done it before. And they went through, and this person gave her in detail about this past life that she lived. And she's like, as she was telling it to me, it's like I remembered it. It's very odd. And then she said that she had trauma because, and some people are probably like, this is bullshit, but I believe it. She had trauma because her mother killed her in a past life. And she said, so I was carrying all this, and she said since a very young age, she's always had this fear of being left. No, she's been afraid of being left behind. She has this fear of she said growing up, they'd go on vacation and she'd be too scared to go to the bathroom because she thought that her family was going to leave her. Now, if it were my family, they would leave me. We once left my brother at a restaurant and totally forgot about him and went home. And later we were like, where the hell's Nick at? And that explains a lot about my brother.
Hold on.
I know. Okay, so knowing that person, would you consider it?
You know, I like her a lot, and she's always been really reputable.
Yeah.
I would even go as far as to say that I admire her.
Right, I do too.
So maybe.
Oh my God. See, this is what's kind of unfair. Is that we're married, and if I said to you, let's go get one of these treatments done, you would be like, you're insane.
So here's the deal. Go get the treatment or believe the treatment.
Would you go?
I'd go. Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm going to find somebody and we're both going to get it done, because I bet like a cleansing would be, I don't know. Again, I'm going to say it for the third, fourth, fifth time. At some point in life, you're just like, I'll try whatever. You got a little concoction for me? I'll give it a whirl. Not to pivot here, but I'm going to pivot here. I was talking earlier about women's fashion, how I want to get those underwear that has the built-in butt.
Oh, back to that. I'm sure we're going to hear about this.
We're not going back to that. We're now going into men's fashion. Okay. I guess this could be women's fashion too. Nike is coming out with a brand new shoe. It's called Dirty Triple White. It's $130 for a pair of these shoes. And the more they come creased and dirty and beat up.
Oh, okay.
And they look really worn down. That's not the weird part. The weird part is apparently the more that you wear these shoes, the cleaner they become. It's like the reverse effect.
That's cool.
I don't know how Nike was able to But what they did was they had a clean version underneath as the first layer, and then they covered it with a second layer. So it's not necessarily dirt and grime and all that stuff. It's just a layer. And as you wear them, that first layer kind of peels off.
That's
and
cool.
The more that you wear them, the whiter these shoes become.
So you're saying we need to get some for our daughter.
Oh my God. Yeah, no doubt. Kids trash shoes. So anyway, those Nike shoes, that's going to be a big seller. I actually know people who wait in line still to this day. I always thought this was a thing of the past, but they will wait in line to get these shoes.
Has there ever been, I'm going somewhere with this. Has there ever been something that you've worn, shoes or otherwise, where I've said something about it or somebody else has said something about it and you've stopped wearing it because of what they said?
No, never. My sister told me yesterday my glasses look like two piles of on my face. And
can I guess which sister?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay. I don't need to.
Yeah. She told me that because they're brown and they're kind of old school. And I said, well, okay. And I wore them all day today. I don't really care. I've never really cared about that kind of stuff. No, not really. And I wear some pretty out there stuff.
Yeah.
And I just don't care. I think you should have your own identity, but that's hard to do when you are prone to worrying.
So I have started to not wear things as much, one thing in particular, because of something you said.
What?
A pair of shoes.
Oh, I thought it was going to be that tank top. Okay, keep going.
I wore a tank top.
You wore like an A shirt. Is that what you call it?
Well, yeah. Wait, I mean, you can old school, like a wife beater, but it isn't a wife beater. It was just a t-shirt that the arms were cut off.
And I was like, oh,
because I was working out.
No, there are no excuses for such things. Okay. So what are these pairs of shoes that I made fun of?
You said you look like Marty McFly.
What shoes are these? And that's not a bad thing.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not. And so now every time I put them on, there's either a hesitancy or I'm like, fuck the Marty McFly shoes. Fine. All right. Fair enough. I'll put them on.
That's
because
so
I do
crazy.
like them.
They're
really, Nikes. I like how they feel. You can kind of picture it in your head if you're a Back to the Future fan. Marty McFly, the white Nike
like low
tops with the swoosh on them, and that's all there is. And I love them. And you said, "Oh, look, Marty McFly shoes," and I was like, "Nope, that's it." Not doing it.
I feel like I'm completely opposite. If someone makes a crack about what I'm wearing, I feel like I want to wear it more. And I don't think that's normal. Hey, do you want to go to a scary movie with me?
If it's a good scary movie.
Okay, so this movie recently came out in theaters. It actually came out over Easter weekend. So I guess that was a couple weeks ago. And the movie is called Sinners, and it takes place in 1930s in the South. And
I've heard nothing but great things about this movie.
Yeah, it's got Michael B. Jordan. He plays two brothers, so he's doing those two different character things. What's interesting about this movie is anytime actors usually do this, like Lindsay Lohan, she was in The Parent Trap and she played two different girls. They usually just act with the stand-in and then use like green screen to kind of make it flow and make it look right. And with this one, he actually acted the scenes out, and then they said that it had to be so precise. So in the beginning of the movie, I've seen clips of this. He lights a cigarette and he's standing next to his twin, which is really him. He lights a cigarette and then he hands it to him. And then he hands it back and they're both smoking the same cigarette. And I was watching this show and the producer or the director was saying that this was such a hard thing to do because they had to get the timing. I keep saying they, like they're actually two brothers. Michael B. Jordan had to get the timing exactly right or it wouldn't line up. So it took like days and days of doing this exact same scene in the movie. But if you see it, it's really incredible. I'll actually post it.
Okay, but this guy, so Sinners, because I'm pretty adverse to seeing scary movies with you because they're typically awful movies.
Terrible.
And it's a waste of time.
Yes.
But the director is the same guy who's directed Creed, has directed Black Panther. Like, he's Space Jam. Like, yeah.
Okay, wait. Space Jam is actually kind of a... not the first, but the one with LeBron James.
Okay.
That was garbage.
But what my point here is, it's not like someone that's directed a couple of commercials and music videos.
Yeah. That's
So,
true. This
yeah.
is like a really well-known director, and he's done amazing work other than Space Jam. But I don't know. I want to go see this movie. That's why I brought up, do you ever go to the movies alone? Because I feel like I would go and see this movie alone if you weren't into it. Because it's true. I have dragged him to some really bad, scary movies. And I'm mostly talking about Late Night with the Devil. That was horrible. What was that one with Nicolas Cage where he looked Long Legs?
Nope, didn't go to that one.
Oh, you didn't go to that? I went to that. Maybe I went to by myself. You're a really good sport, though. Ryan doesn't like scary movies.
No, I don't. It's not that I don't like scary movies. I don't like bad movies. And typically, more often than not, if a movie is a scary movie, it's just because it's got full of plot holes. It's just it's not a well put together movie. And I'm like sitting there and it's like, how do you when a 4-year-old comes up to tell you a story and it goes for like 12 minutes?
Or I do.
Or you do. And you're just like, okay, yeah. And then what happened? That's exactly what like 80% of scary movies are like, is you're like, I'm going here for the 5 thrills that I'll see during this hour and a half. But other than that, it's just going to be a bad movie.
But I think you have to go into these types of movies with that expectation of like, listen,
okay,
this isn't going to be Saving Private Ryan. This is going to be a low budget horror movie. But like you said, this Sinners movie, they say is probably going to win a lot of awards. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing but good things. So I'm in on that.
I'm actually going this weekend with Kendra.
Hey, hold on.
I didn't know you'd want to go.
Are you literally going during Murphy's soccer game?
No, I'm going after Ding Dong. Her soccer game's at 1 and I'm going at 3:45.
Okay. I thought that's what you were saying is like, what time are the games? And then you're like, well, I'm going to go to a movie.
Yeah, right. Like I'd ever hear the end of that. It would probably also be a game where she like scored 12 points and I wasn't there.
She did have a goal last weekend. How great was that?
It's great because she's in the competitive stuff now. And so it's a lot more heart pounding. I do miss, though, the little kid sports where they'd run the wrong way and everybody would laugh. Now it's intense. Parents are like yelling at their kids. And
there's only a couple of them.
Well,
most parents are great.
Most parents are great. But I will say those couple make it really hard. But no, I will not be missing any of her sports. Our weekends are made up of sports games. And so
sports games,
the sports.
Who do you think signed her up for the sports games? If you say sports games, hey, do you know who had a birthday?
No.
Willie Nelson.
Again, I really thought when we went to see him in concert like a year ago or 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago. He was just going through all that rigmarole of turning 90.
Yep.
And I thought, this is it. He's probably not going to make it much less than
92 years old.
I am starting to truly believe that because he was in Rolling Stone magazine and he did an interview and he talked about how marijuana he thinks saved his life. It cut down on his stress. And he said, he talks about how stress kills people. I mean, it's true. If you ruminate on something, that it sits inside of you. It's like a disease. And he said that weed has took that away for him. And so he never stopped smoking it. And I think that's why. I think that lack of stress, because there've been so many tests done about how bad stress just is for you overall. And I think if you can eliminate that, and it's probably also because he has lots of money, so it's not like he's worrying about paying any bills or anything like that. But I think that's really interesting because he talked about this in that Rolling Stone magazine. And I read it and I thought, yeah, that makes complete sense. Screw you, Nancy Reagan.
Very timely reference.
And that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for listening. Be sure, if you wouldn't mind, going on and leaving a review, whether you're listening on Apple or Spotify or Podbean, wherever you get your favorite podcast and wherever you're listening to this one. It doesn't have to be your favorite, but if you leave me a review, I might send you $1. That's the deal I'm going to make. You leave a review and I will send you I can't do that.
Yeah, you can't say that.
I don't think I could say that.
You don't say that because then people will be like, she said it. She said it.
You're right. I can't send you $1. But thank you to everybody who has gone on. If I hit a certain number, I didn't know this, but then I did a little research. If I hit a certain number of comments, it pushes the podcast out to a wider audience. And so every review, every star that is left, every comment that is left, it is just so important. And again, so grateful for everyone who has gone on. If you haven't done that yet, I'd surely appreciate it. Have a good day. And I love you. Ooh, and tomorrow is the weekly roundup. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. Be sure to head it to listen to me. Be sure to click automatic download, and maybe you could leave a rating. You can do it on Apple where you can actually write things, or you can just give a star rating on Spotify. It's so awesome. I get so excited. I'm a very simple gal, and those stars, they just get me excited. That sounded weird. That sound weird? Before I leave, I just have to say a big thank you to my friends at Garage Door Service and Sales. Garage Door Service and Sales, they've been in business for decades, literally decades. I mean, like older than me. And how long I've been alive, which I feel like has been a really long time. Oh no, they were chugging away with the day I was born, putting in brand new garage doors, doing different tune-ups. And their work ethic hasn't changed, but you know what has changed? The product, the technology. Whether you need a big job or a little job, they can set you up with whatever you are looking for. My parents, they have an estate gate from Garage Door Service and Sales, and they own a storage facility. Guess what? All those big storage doors where you just click the button and the doors go up and down. It's so nice. They love it. And they got it done through Garage Door Service and Sales. They've got great financing. And again, they work with homeowners with just a spring that's maybe a little too squeaky for you, or they work with big companies with if you got big construction needs. It's Garage Door Service and Sales, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.